but we really thank the police for
So,
being there.
Alphonse, let me ask you a question once you've brought this question, and I think the question will kind of wrap up with that. But let me start it with you, since you're talking about this police issue and how we've seen, the police restrain itself. Actually, in the whole of Africa, I've never seen. Let me not talk about other Western countries, but in Africa specifically, we haven't seen police being so restrained like this time around, like what happened last Monday, whereby they held their cool. They understood that this was a setup, that they did not want to go with other, bring out,
Yeah.
well, there were live rounds of ammunition and all that. But we have seen the national police and Inspector Comey come up and say that, the buck stops with him, that this has to stop. So this is a very controversial question I'm going to ask you. Do you think if tomorrow, or rather today in Kenya, these mandamanos go and get out of hand like the way last Monday they went, should Raila be arrested and held accountable for these things? I know it's a topic that most people don't want to address, but I'm going to put the three of you on the spot. And I'll start with you, Chaluba, since you started talking about it. Should we get to that point whereby, yes, this is crossing the line? There is a law. Kenya, we are governed by a constitution and rules and laws that nobody's above the law. So if you cross this line, if he crosses this line tomorrow, should he get arrested?
Yeah, thank you. I think you nailed it on the head, and I think Chiandonga mentioned it earlier, that this is William Ruto. William Ruto has worked with former Prime Minister Raila Odinga. He was working with him for the first 5 years. He even actually worked under his ministry in the Ministry of Agriculture, which was under the Prime Minister. And they were together in the campaign trail before 2007 election. So he knows him. And I think Engineer Donga mentioned it right. This is William Ruto. You can intimidate him. This is a guy you cannot intimidate. And he's calm. You see what happened? If it was other people, the whole country would have burned. But he knows, he has a strategy, he has a plan. Mentioning that is that this Saturday, and I wouldn't be able to speak for the president or the ministry, I just go by what they say. The president on Saturday, when he was in TC, he said that anybody who breaks the law will have to face the law. He mentioned that. I know, and I believe, I don't know, but I believe that the way the president is directing his security apparatus to handle this situation is that whoever will be throwing a stone, you will face the law. Whoever is jumping on people's cars, you will face the law. And if Raila picks a stone and throws in somebody, he will face the law. And whenever Raila breaks the law, he's just calling for mass action, right? So if that's like the mandamano for Monday, it was not approved by the police department because they have to approve it. So that was wrong in real sense. They were not supposed to have that mandamano. But if Raila, I'm telling you this, and I really believe, if Raila breaks the law, if he does something that will be personally pointing at him, Ruto, I believe, is not going to think twice. They're going to arrest him immediately. And I really believe that.
Okay. All right. Thanks for your opinion there. Engineer Donga, what do you think? And then I will wrap it up with Wanacharaisi on this issue. Should Raila get arrested if they cross the law, and because we see how they are pushing it? Because I believe if I did something like that in Kenya, I'll be arrested. Nobody's above the law. So is he above the law?
No, nobody is above the law. And the thing is that he might not be arrested. Raila, he's not stupid. He'll be in that mandamano, but on the roof of his car. He will not throw a stone. He will not break any shop. But he'll be shouting there. There is a freedom of expression. He can throw words and do all the stuff. He will not try to break any. He will not try to fight with the police. He'll be still in his car. When the police throw their tear gas, he'll get in the car. He's not breaking the rope. He's just following. He can go to the court and say, I was on Lucas. I was not even part of it. I was not doing what they were doing. So how did I break the rope? So it's the people who are following what he's telling them that will end up in jail. Because for him, he will not break the law. He will not walk up and go and destroy a property or try to get a gun from the police. He will not do that. And that's why he keep on telling the inspector of police, which is a independent unit by itself, they make their own decision. Come and arrest me, I'll be there. Unless he have lost his mind, if you are just walking, you are not destroying anything, nobody will arrest you. So he just playing mind with his follower. Okay. But if he does that, try to destroy the property, he'll find himself behind the bar. I guarantee you that.
Okay. So that's a very good way of looking at it. But Bonachiraisi, he is the leader of this Mandamano. This Mandamano have been called, and so far they are illegal, right? The demonstrations are illegal. One thing that I know, and I'll bring in Article 37, it says that, yes, we have the freedom to assemble, to have demonstrations, for you to picket, for you to petition to authority. But nowhere that it says that you have the right to protest, right? And we have seen what protest is. It turns out to be rowdy. It turns out to be disorganized. It turns out to where they're vandalizing property. We saw somebody's supermarket, people jumping out, grabbing TVs and fridges and all that. So, yes, there are those who are culpable doing the act, but there's a leader of this movement who is encouraging them to be out there. Although they say be peaceful, but if you cannot control the people that you have called to the streets, right? You're the one who has called them. So you have the authority to control them. You're the one in charge of these people. Should he be held accountable for that?
Thank you so much, Chairman Irene. I will also say what Engineer Donga said. Raila Odinga is very intelligent. He always pushes the envelope to the edge and then veers off. Like if you see the protest he had last Monday, basically what he did was do what he always does, like political rally convoy. He walked, he basically drove into the crowd. They drove where he knows the crowd was. He went to Islay, a residential place where the crowd will be there. It's not like he organized those people or anything. They had a plan in place, a very elitist plan, where they got done, went to the highway, and went to their living suburbs to eat, to enjoy. But on the other hand, if you saw his followers in Kisumu, they burned down vehicles in UDA office. They vandalized the place. But Raila was not there. He had already, he didn't organize those ones. And he also is always very manipulative on the wording of the media and all that. He says, oh, the police came in, everything was peaceful until the police lobbied the tear gas and everything went loose. So he wants to blame everybody else except himself. So he knows how to push the envelope to the edge and pull back and to safety for himself. And as you said, it was illegal in this way. It was against the Public Order Act. The protests and let's say mass action and all that and picketing is allowed to the extent prescribed by the law. My protest should not infringe on somebody else's freedom. My protest, like in Washington, D.C., protest goes on every day. If you go to White House, protest goes on every day, but those who are looking to protest, they present their request for permit by the police, and they are given a place to go protest. They protest there and go home. It's not like the way Raila is saying, oh, we'll march to the State House. And when pressed to explain, he said, State House is a public place. There's nothing like that. Even the military facility is a public place. But do we march there like aimlessly as a crowd? No. Even without protest, can I walk into the State House tomorrow, just in the morning, and just walk in there because it's a public place? No, no. There's what's called Public Order Act. There has to be order in everything we do. My right to protest or to picket should not infringe on somebody else's right to go to work, to drive home safely, to have their car not burned down. But Raila, in his radical self, he's been a radical since he was like first grade. You know, this is what he does. He just wants to push. This is him. This is where he thrives. He thrives on oppositional things and all that to get attention. So, in a civilized environment, civilized nation, civilized everywhere, picketing, peaceful picketing is allowed under Public Service Act. Your right to picket should not infringe on my right to go home unharmed, to drive home without being blocked off, without the road and infrastructure being vandalized, the railways and all that. So that's what the law says. But guess what? Raila's protest will not be effective by him if it doesn't become violent. If it doesn't become violent, it's not going to be effective. So he's actually pushing for violence so that they call for dialogue and all that. All right, I'll end there because subjects.
Yes, thank you, panelists here. Starting with Engineer Ndonga, Chair in Atlanta. Thank you very much. Alphonse Chelimo, also in Atlanta. We thank you for your contribution and actually setting this up too. We appreciate that. You're the one who set the whole meeting up, so I appreciate that. As well as Bonacharaisi, thank you for your contribution. We know what you guys did for this government for it to be in place. We appreciate everything. And all we're urging our people is tomorrow, remain calm, or rather today in Kenya, remain calm. This shall pass. So we've seen this before. We've seen how Raila operates, but the good thing is this is a different government, and with President Ruto in place, as well as the Deputy President Rigathi in place, we know that Kenya will continue to prosper, and will be at a better place. And once again, we want to thank our viewers. We want to thank everybody out there. We do promise now we'll be doing this regularly. We'll have regular scheduled interviews. We'll bring more people. I think we're going to go out there searching also want to hear the other side too as well. If we get Azimio people who want to come on and explain, especially this issue of Mandamano, give us their insight that maybe we're overlooking. Especially we people from Kenya Kwanza, maybe we're overlooking. We will want to hear them out. But from what we've seen, we're analyzing from that perspective. And yes, if anybody has any comments, we'll post this all through. They can comment to that. We'll appreciate all the comments. So until next time, thank you very much, and see you all. Thank you.
Thank you.